You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. First timer on Ron Siegel Radio, Jim McAleer.
On your first try, Ron, you are a national expert.
Oh, okay. Well done. He's a CEO. He's a big boss here from Alzheimer's, Orange County. We've had other people. We never had the big boss here.
Well, you know, Ron, I had to test you out first. I had to send a few folks shoot across the bow.
There you go. I guess that makes sense, right? Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
My board's as slow as I am today. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Why is this thing making noise at me? Oh, well. Let's see. What are we going to celebrate today? This one can only cause me trouble, but I'm going to go with it anyway, just because it hits me in the head. National Richter Scale Day. That's kind of like when I fall down, it measures on the Richter scale. I shouldn't say that. That's a little bit of a problem right there. National Audubon Day. That's probably not going to do us too much good here in Southern California. Help a Horse Day. Okay. And there's a lot of horses doing a lot of good stuff helping people. So why not help the horse? Kids and Pets Day. Oh, I wonder why they put those two together. I just curious. Well, having just got a new puppy a couple of weeks ago, 2 out of my 3 kids are out of the house. The other one, well, I don't go there, but the puppy, yeah, he might be harder to train than the kids. Oh well. National Pretzel Day. When it comes to food, you know that I'm going to be there. So the question is mustard or cheese sauce. Now, I know on the graphic that we shared earlier, not the one that we're showing right now, if you're watching us on our social channels, but I did show a different graphic earlier, and the lending company came up with theirs. They want to know jalapeno sauce. I am not
That's sinful, man.
Yeah.
It's got to be mustard all the way. I mean, where are these people from?
Yeah, I'm with you. Little was Goulden's mustard, little deli mustard or yellow mustard, either one. That would be
at the fair, with that little bit of extra salt.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Right.
Oh, yes, indeed. Well, I'm going to bet before I start drooling too much, let's get on to see what's going on in the world today. Maybe we should go back as I look at the markets right now. It might be a good idea for me to go back to talking about pets, kids, and pretzels. Because the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 547 points.
Ow!
S&P 500 down 85. The NASDAQ down 408 points. And oil's up. Let's check on that one. Do we want to? No, we looked at the gas prices yesterday. I'm still ill from that. U.S. 10-year Treasury is down 8 basis points, 2.748. What's going on in there? I guess we got a flight to safety is what that looks like. So money coming out of the stock market, going into the bond market. Bond prices going up, which automatically means the yield goes down. We'll have to watch that one for you, see how long that's going to go. Got to figure this one out. I don't get it. I just always wonder about these things when you see these takeovers. So the big news of the day yesterday was, for whether you like it or not, Elon Musk buying Twitter. Now, he bought Twitter. They agreed to a price of $54.20, yet the stock is down $1.67 today at $50.03. I guess people are impatient. That's one of those things right there. This is a perfect example. So if you can get 8 to 10% return on your money, most people are going to say that's a good, safe investment. Well, Twitter right now trading at 50, knowing that they've approved a buyout at 54.20, give or take, that's about 8 to 10% appreciation. So why would somebody be selling today at $50? Because they have to, in the most case, right? So they didn't plan ahead. They didn't know that they needed to have, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months worth of money sitting on the sideline, liquid and available. And something happens. We never know what that might be. We never know when that might happen. But something came up and they had to sell. And they're giving up $4.20 a share by selling at a time when maybe they didn't want to sell. Maybe they got a house that's closing escrow. They should have sold yesterday, right? Maybe they've got a health issue. We know that there are all kinds of things that come up all the time, and we're always cognizant of the fact of have that emergency fund. Now, we're going to talk today about an issue that not a pleasant issue, but maybe when we learn about it, we can I don't know if the right term is manage, maybe. We might be able to manage the situation a little bit better when you understand it. Now, I will tell you that I have experience, but I'm not experienced, right? Because I've lived with somebody that I love very deeply that was afflicted, I guess is the right term, by mild cognitive impairment. Now, what made it mild? I have no idea. Why they call it mild? I have no idea. I know some people aren't biologists. I am not a neuroscientist, but when you're in the thick of it, it ain't mild. So we're going to learn about Alzheimer's today, maybe some of the cognitive impairments. How do you live with somebody, or how do you help somebody go through that or navigate that? Is there a cure? Are there solutions? We're going to learn a lot about that. So you know that I like to talk about home and finance. When I started this radio show, most people, I don't always share this, but when I started this radio show 12 years ago, I was pretty lucky. Well, I'm still lucky, but I was pretty lucky then. My wife and I had all 4 parents, and we got to celebrate 50th anniversaries with our parents. Their anniversary is 50, not ours. But we got to celebrate. Our parents, both sets of parents celebrated their 50th anniversary within a couple months of each other. And we started the radio show, and I said, this is a perfect platform for me to talk about my life. No one cares about my life, but what goes through my life that is equivalent to maybe your life. 3 kids, college. We've gone through weddings together, grandkids, and unfortunately, we've got to deal with loss. We've dealt with dementia. We've dealt with MS. We've dealt with melanoma, right? So we started the radio program because I wanted you to understand the things that are going on in the world that may affect you like they've affected me. And maybe your family is going through something along these lines. And if you listen and we can give one person, that's all we're looking for. If there's one of you out there that we can help make your life, your experience, make your loved one's experience just a little bit better, then we've accomplished our mission for the day. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we will have our discussion on Alzheimer's. We're going to talk about how home ownership can help shield you from inflation. And sometimes we get to it, sometimes we don't. 10 tips to live credit smart, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. And I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. Even if you don't have a documentable income, maybe you're a business owner and you got a great accountant and he writes off as much as he possibly can, and you don't think that you can afford to buy a new house, give us a call. Again, 800-306-1990. Geneva's got the programs and the products. Take a look at the markets today. The S&P 500 down 88.69 now. 10-year Treasury down 7 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities up 28 basis points. We'll give this number to you because we do every morning. OBMMI provides the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Loans yesterday locked at 5.342, down a little bit from the day before. 5.342 is a 30-year conforming loan. 4.5 was the 15-year conforming. Jumbo's 4.75, and the FHA loan 5.24. But I know you didn't turn on Ron Siegel Radio to hear some data that you might be able to find elsewhere. You want to know why this is happening. Well, a lot of it has to do with what's going on in the marketplace. Housing news, new home sales measures signed contracts on new homes were down 8.6% in March to a 763,000 annualized pace, which is in line with expectations. If you were listening to Diana Olick this morning, and you should not, she came up with some bogus information talking about the market being down 8.6% in March, but did not say that there was a positive revision for the prior month of 8%. So were we really down that much? Yeah, less than 1%. Year over year sales, they're down 12.6%. The median home price for, and again, this is nationwide, new homes, 436,700, which is up 21% year over year and points to an increase in higher priced homes. The average price home came in at 523,900, which is up 26%. There were, ready for this, only 407,000 homes for sale at the end of March, up 33% from last year. But here's the catch. Only 35,000 or 9% are actually completed. So the rest of them can't be sold. 6.3 months supply when you factor in homes you can move into today. It's about half a month. Is that really bad, Miss Olick? Maybe you should look, instead of trying to just sell, oh, wait a second, it's CNBC. Maybe she can go over to CNN Plus because they don't sell anything there either. Nobody watches. Case-Shiller Home Price Index, which is considered the gold standard for appreciation. So home prices rose 1.7% in February, 19.8% year over year. Not a bad investment, is it, Ms. Olick? Top 3 performing cities: Phoenix, 33%, Tampa, 33%, Miami, 30%. San Diego, you were up 4.5% monthly. Seattle, 4.4%. Look at some of those numbers. Now, these numbers, now FHFA, they give their house price index, measures home price appreciation on single-family homes, conforming loan limits. So think about this one, previous month, 2.1%, 19.4% year over year. Is that a bad investment? Is that something you want to stay away from? And hey, you know something? I tell you this all the time. You have a choice where to live. It just costs a little bit extra if you want a roof over your head. Just throw that out there for you. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. Let's chat. Let's learn. Jim McAleer. I'm looking at all the together, and I'm just going, okay, I got to try and get this right.
It's a wee touch of the Scottish, to be sure.
Okay, whatever you said. Alzheimer's.
Indeed, Alzheimer's disease. Well, think about dementia first, probably. It's kind of the umbrella term, like cancer is. But then
Okay.
you've got breast cancer, prostate cancer. Dementia is a neurologically impairing condition that impairs your ability to function. Alzheimer's is by far the most common.
See, and I always kind of, and I know that I'm wrong, but before I was schooled a little bit, I kind of thought they were synonymous. Now I've got Alzheimer's, I got dementia, then I learned about MCI.
Right, which is a precursor, possibly, to an Alzheimer's dementia. We don't know for sure. There's some people who stay in the MCI stage, mild cognitive impairment, for years and years and years, never develop dementia. So we're not really sure of the underpinnings.
That's kind of the issue right there, because when I was going from doctor to doctor to doctor with my dad, they said the only way we really know 100% is by an autopsy.
Pretty much. They can get to close to a 98% diagnosis.
Okay.
It's about the same as pneumonia. So don't let it scare you too badly without an autopsy. Most of what they do is they rule out everything else in an attempt to find out if it's Alzheimer's dementia. The reality is, if it's a dementia, just like if it's a cancer, many of the treatments are the same for Alzheimer's as they are for vascular dementia, as they are for, you might have heard of pugilistic. Boxers get it. NFL players get it a lot. So whatever the type of dementia is, the important part is to get to a neurologist, to get to some social help early in the process.
I'm not sure I don't know how to phrase the question, because I don't know that the doctors, they gave us medications, and maybe you're going through the same thing, but they gave us medications. I don't know what value they had. But I know that's the social part of it. I know I got some help, but part of my family didn't. And I felt comforted by having, maybe, whether the knowledge was accurate or not.
Well, let's start with the doctor part of the knowledge. If you're going to a generally practicing physician and you believe you had, let's again say cancer, would you get your meds from your GP? No, you go to a specialist. If you are worried about your brain health or your memory, go get thee to a neurologist or a geriatrician, right? So first, let's start there. Make sure your clinical and medical help knows what they're doing as it relates to memory. You can find out from us at alzoc.org, alzoc.org, and we can help you find those referrals. So that puts that to one side. The social supports, the supports that you get, things like support groups or how to assist someone with bathing, how to communicate with someone compassionately and effectively. Those are all things that we can offer at no charge. So I encourage folks who think they may have a problem or who know they have a problem or who know their parents have a problem to reach out and connect and just find out what the resources are, because you don't know what you don't know.
So let me ask you this part of it then, because if in my case, I'm just going to use myself today. So you guys can listen to us and apply my situation with your situation, see how you may fit in. So we never had a diagnosis of Alzheimer's. Does that preclude us from calling alzoc.org?
Not at all. We deal with anybody who's worried about memory.
Okay.
The reality is, if 72% of seniors who think they have a memory impairment have a significant memory impairment. If you think it's probably real. 15% of memory impairments are treatable. We can do something about it. The others, we can help you with your lifestyle, with your planning. But the 15% medication interactions are the first one. We get older. Doctor adds another med. Another doctor adds another med. And all of a sudden, we're having trouble remembering what we had for breakfast.
Yeah, maybe we had too many meds. That's
exactly.
The med for the med causes the problem down the road.
So let's add a med.
So let's add a med. Yeah.
Right.
So is it when you're talking about things that we can do for it? Is that medication? Is it lifestyle? Is it exercise, mental exercise? All the above?
Unfortunately, there's not a cure. The medications that we have, including the most recent one, aducanumab, have shown
Holy
to have
cow.
very, I can actually pronounce them all. It took me years. But they're acetylcholinesterase inhibitors. There's one for you. But the reality is the meds have a very modest impact, maybe a 2 to possibly up to a 4% lift, and it's short-lived. What science does tell us really clearly that helps the most: diet, exercise, and social engagement. So,
well, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. If at 1 out of 3, I could be a baseball player.
I didn't say I practice it. I said I preach it.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just talking about myself again.
But those 3 things are the most manageable things we can do that absolutely have an appreciable impact. One of the problems that we face with our families, people love Google. They love WebMD. So they get out on the web and they find all of these lovely treatments and cures, all these causes, and most of it's garbage. Quite frankly, I was listening to your earlier report about some financial information and how they shouldn't listen to that. Same in my world. Don't go Googling, go find a content expert. And if you are going to Google, look at the source and make sure it's trusted. If it's Mount Sinai, you're probably okay.
Okay. So, and that obviously brings up the next question is, how do you know who to trust?
Really good question. So if you're looking at an article or a research study and it's funded by the nutraceutical, the vitamin industry, I wouldn't believe what it says about vitamins. They have a vested interest. It's not saying vitamins are bad, but I would trust the scientists who are studying in a lab who don't have that vested interest first and foremost. So the scientific journals are where I start. It has to be peer reviewed. And if you're looking at an article of research and it's done in mice, you're not a mouse. We're not there yet.
Okay. So one of the problems then with, or the challenges you have is there's very few of the nutritionals or the nutritional supplements that have the value or the benefit of being peer reviewed.
So one, I'm not a doctor nor a scientist, but
we don't even play them on TV.
I do read a lot. I don't play them on TV. They wouldn't let me on TV. But the reality is there's some good scientific evidence that supports vitamin E as it relates to memory, mostly because it relates to heart health. So if you ask a scientist what nutraceuticals they take, many of them will tell you they take a multivitamin. Those who take people who take many vitamins, probably not doing what they think it is. It's a conversation to have with your doctor, but have it with your doctor. Don't take it off the internet.
That's a great point, because I did go through that with one of my doctors, and he said, Well, when you take, and I don't remember which it was because I changed, but he said, when you take this vitamin and you take them together, they counteract each other. Right. So you take one in the morning and one at night, and then it works. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. More about Alzheimer's when we come back, how homeownership can help shield you from inflation, and maybe 10 tips to live credit smart. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com. Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Yeah, the Scout's got all the information that you need to know. It's going to give you what your property value is. I love having that right on there because you can put in your property value and give you 4 different trusted sources, even the one that's the biggest out there and giving you the wrong information. But hey, we tell you anyway, so you don't have to go there and get it directly. So we're going to tell you that. You can also shop for new real estate right there with no advertising. You may not like the advertising, so we don't give it to you. Go on there, put in there to Timbuktu or wherever that might be, and you can actually get the data right there. Put in how many bedrooms you want, how many bathrooms you want, size, all the pertinent information, and get it right there. No advertising, and it's free. How homeownership can help shield you from inflation. If you're following along with the news today, you've likely heard about rising inflation. You're also likely feeling the impact in your day-to-day life as prices go up for gas, groceries, and more. The rising consumer costs can put a pinch on your wallet and make you reevaluate any big purchases you have planned to ensure they're still worthwhile. If you've been thinking about purchasing a home this year, you're probably wondering if you should continue down that path or if it makes more sense to wait. While the answer depends on your situation, here's how homeownership can help you combat the rising costs that come with inflation. Investopedia explains that during a period of high inflation, prices rise across the board. That's true for things like food, entertainment, and other goods and services, even housing. Both rental prices and home prices are on the rise. So as a buyer, how can you protect yourself from increasing costs? The answer lies in homeownership. Buying a home allows you to stabilize what's typically your biggest monthly expense, your housing cost. If you get a fixed rate mortgage on your home, you lock in your monthly payment for the duration of your loan, often 15 to 30 years. James Royal, senior wealth management reporter at Bankrate, says, quote, a fixed rate mortgage allows you to maintain the biggest portion of your housing expenses at the same payment. Sure, property taxes will rise and other expenses may creep up, but your monthly housing payments remain the same, unquote. So even if other prices rise, your housing payment will be a reliable amount that can help keep your budget in check. If you rent, you don't have that same benefit and you won't be protected from rising housing costs. Use home price appreciation to your benefit. When it's true, rising mortgage rates and home prices mean buying a house today costs more than it did a year ago. You still have an opportunity to set yourself up for a long-term win. Buying now lets you lock in today's rates and prices before both climb. Hey, you can wait, but the real estate price and the payment interest will be higher later. So do you want to wait? Inflationary times, it's important to invest your money in an asset that traditionally holds or grows in value. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you can see a chart of homeownership as a hedge against inflation. What does that mean to you today? Experts say home prices will only go up from here thanks to ongoing imbalance in supply and demand. Once you buy a house, any home price appreciation that does occur will be good for your equity and your net worth. And since homes are typically assets that grow in value, even in inflationary times, you have peace of mind that history shows your investment is a strong one. Bottom line, if you got any questions, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Learning more about Alzheimer's with Jim McAleer today, CEO of Alzheimer Orange County. And we did learn, and Levin, why don't we get this posted on there also? alzoc.org, alzoc.org, alzoc.org. Did I get it right?
You did. Alzheimer's, ALZ.
ALZ. We're got the OC.
That's it.
So one of the things that, you know, we've talked on the broadcast several times about Alzheimer's, and the one thing we never seem to talk about, and we're a financial show, is dealing with cost.
Wow. Yeah. You know, it's a really, really expensive condition. They estimate that up to $80,000 a year is what the average family spends for a loved one with Alzheimer's disease in its moderate and later stages. So thinking early on, as soon as the family realizes that there's an issue, looking at your asset base across its board and realizing that you may need to deploy some reasonably significant assets to start thinking about things like your house. I mean, most people's primary asset as a senior is going to be their home. So making a move can be really, really scary. But trust me, it's more scary when you're later in a disease process and you don't know what's going on around you. So making those decisions early so that you can maximize the benefit from the asset base that you have, and also so that any transitions you choose to make for your family, your parents, for example, they're smoother because you can participate. If mom doesn't remember who you are and you're trying to move her to a new place than the place she's lived for 50 years so that there's staff there, that's really tough. Bringing staff into the home, it's great if you can afford it. How many people can afford it?
Right, that's expensive.
That $80,000 figure won't even touch staff at the home. So you really have to think through what your values are, what is important to you and your loved ones who are going through the process, and start it early. Start planning it early.
Yeah, and there's a lot to plan in there, because some of the things you want to do, especially, maybe not especially, but you also have to consider if it's the first of the parents that are afflicted, you can end up depleting everything that the couple has saved for their lifetime, just taking care of dad.
Right.
And mom lives on, and now she's eating dog food because she can't afford real food.
Right. And when you think about, most couples would certainly prefer to spend as much time together as possible as they age. So even if one person is declining, there are plenty of places in this county and in this country where people can, we call it aging in place, where a couple can move, where one needs greater care and will increasingly need greater care while their spouse doesn't. So they might end up in an apartment with 2 bedrooms, and then over time, the spouse with dementia ends up in a memory unit next door, that sort of thing. But
so is there a way of communicating that I guess is successful? In my case, I tried to communicate that, and my mom said, there's no way in the world we're leaving the house. I'm taking care of your dad. And we agreed that we would never, ever go into one of these facilities.
That is a very common conversation. And it really depends on the family. To force someone out of their home is obviously not what you're trying to do. You're trying to create the safest place possible. So get help. Get with one of either our social workers or a social worker at a facility, someone who can help broker the conversation. For a lot of people, it comes down to safety. All right, mom, you want to keep dad at home. You can't keep dad safe, and here's why. Or we're going to have to bring in 24/7 staffing, and here's what that's going to cost. We don't want to scare people, but we want people to have a realistic understanding of what's happening and going to happen.
That reality check is important.
And we don't want to scare people, but it's scary.
Right. And you also, from a financial standpoint, you don't know, exactly as you said earlier, you don't know what you don't know. So there are, in some instances, you need to divest assets. You need to talk to a financial planner or an attorney who understands these things, because some instances there's look back periods, some there aren't. I know that there used to be, I haven't looked into it recently, but there used to be a great service aid and attendance for our veterans. Is that still around? You know,
it is still around. It's not the robust benefit we might hope, but it's still a benefit. So it's something to check out if you need personal care.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is now. It used to be that a veteran could get like $2,000 a month in aid and attendance. So, and I'm not telling you that you can or you qualify or any of that. I'm saying that it's something that was out there, and you might want to explore it if you've got a veteran that's afflicted. So those are a lot of issues right there. The 24-hour care at home, that's got to be a massive expense.
Well, when you think about the average price tag is $28 an hour, and you're talking about 365 days out of the year, folks try and cut back on the expense, but they cut back on what they need. So by the time a person with dementia is wandering, 75% of our people are going to wander at some point. That's a huge number.
75%
are going to go out their door not knowing where they're going, and their family won't know where they are for some period of time. So if you don't have that 24/7 care and you're 87 caring for your spouse, how long can you stay awake? So it's just a matter of sitting down with the family, making sure everybody has the same conversation, even if they're not on the same page.
That's a great thought, because I know some folks right now that, they're going through various cognitive issues, and they just had that exact thing happen, is that the loved one decided to go for a walk, and it doesn't turn out well.
Right. There's some great programs. The Alzheimer's Association, a national organization, has a program called Safe Return, which is a bracelet so that a policeman, noticing that you're confused, they're trained to check the bracelet. So basically the family gets a call rather than the person getting put in a police car, those kinds of things. And there are other national programs as well. There are GPS wandering devices available. But at the end of the day, people are your best asset. People are your best resource, your family, your neighbors, your friends. At some point, there is a time at which homes are rarely still safe, and you got to figure out when that is.
So who's the one that was generally going to call you first? Is it going to be a partner of the afflicted? Is it going to be the child, grandchild? Is there a norm?
There's really not. We often get a call from a person worried about their own memory, a person with mild cognitive impairment.
Wow.
Probably, if I had to bet, I would say spouses are our first contact most of the time. If not, it's adult children. But the person with the disease is often one picking up the phone. Particularly these days, we're more empowered to check out our own healthcare than we used to be. So our parents would never question their doctors. We will question our doctors.
Right.
We'll pick up the phone and ask another expert for help. That's a good thing. So we get calls from everybody, and we get calls about people in other states. So you might have a dad in Georgia. Still call us. We have
okay, so that's allowed.
Yeah, of course. We have if somebody's in Orange County who needs help, be it for them or somebody outside of the county, we can connect them with resources.
And that's good to know, because we know that our broadcast goes a lot more than just Orange County. So great to know. We're going to continue our conversation, learning more about Alzheimer's when we come back. And as usual, I'm going to skip the Your Credit Matters because I want to learn. I'm learning some good stuff here today. I hope you are too. You can reach me anytime, and I'll put you in touch with Alzheimer's Orange County. Just give me a call at any time, 800-306-1990, 800-306-90. You can reach us at that number or on any of our social channels, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. Or if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at ronismylender.com. That's ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com. Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It's wrong. They all are. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer, Jeff and his team at Blue Water Credit do a great job for the listeners of Ron Siegel Radio. Highly encourage. Reach out to creditsanitizer.com. Continuing our conversation, Jim McAleer is with us, Alzheimer's Orange County or the surrounding areas. So we're learning about, we talked a little bit about the cognitive impairments in the B block. And the C block, we got into money. We've never really done that on the broadcast before, got into the financial aspect of it with somebody that's really knows what they're, the situation. We've talked about it. You know that Tom Borsick comes on all the time, helping us find communities for people and helping you find communities for your loved ones. We used to call them homes. They don't call them homes anymore because homes are where people used to go to die. And now these communities are really where people go to live. And it's a big benefit there. But Jim, when I was a kid, they used to have these places, and I don't know if that we understood the disease as much, but they would have, they had was it Fairview, and they had Metropolitan State Mental Hospital.
We sent a lot of people to a traditional nursing home. And most of us have a sense of that as a septic environment that smells bad and there's no activity. So residential care facilities are not that. So Alzheimer's Orange County has 100 beds where people live 365. Outside of our organization, there are hundreds of beds in Orange County, many hundreds of beds. So many of them are in residential neighborhoods. So it'll be a house. It'll have 6 seniors, typically staffed by a couple of people. And it's just like, not the home, as you mentioned, like a residence. So they celebrate birthdays. They're doing gardening. They're doing arts and crafts. They're doing karaoke is a real favorite, as is bingo. But
bingo I could guess.
Right? So it's operated like a home, so it's a home-like environment and most comfortable as possible. But it is a place where people can live through the balance of their life, so they don't have to go to that nursing home or that hospital because the staff are trained. And you're talking about a place where people are awake 24/7, where staff are awake. So unlike at your home where mom goes to sleep or you go to sleep, somebody's always there at 2 a.m. when that person gets up and doesn't remember where they are.
Yeah, what they call it, sundowners?
Sundowners happens for people when the sun goes down, 5 or 6 o'clock most of the time, and behaviors go up because folks get agitated, not sure of what's going to happen next. So there's some really good tips and tricks for that, and you can find them on our website at
alzoc.org.
You got it.
There we go. Q loving right there. So let's chat a little bit about that, about those issues. How do we get involved with at 2 different ways? Number one, as a community, we're going to get that in a minute. How as a community can we support the organization? But before we get to that, do you have events for or classes or support groups for the family?
Sure. So we have over 40 support groups, actually, and we operate in about 8 different languages. Some of them are faith-based. Some of them are area of the county-based. Some of them are just related to the disease condition. Like, for example, if you have a Parkinsonian dementia, there's a support group specific to that. But some folks are just not support group peeps. They really are not there to sit and talk about their feelings. So
I know too much and I'm too strong and it's beneath me and I'm afraid to say that I need help.
So they want factoids. So our caregiver education program served about 26,000 people last year. Their classes online and now beginning to come back in person. Really what we're trying to teach folks is here are some different things you can try because every person with dementia is the only person like themselves. So we give them different things that they can try and they may or may not work. We keep trying. So our classes are there. Our support groups are there. We also have 2 adult day centers. There are a total of 17 in the county where a van will pick your loved one up at home, take them to the day center and care for them during the day and then bring them back.
So let me ask you this part of it. It just hit me when you said it, because I could imagine that I know people in my life that would have benefited, it was too early on, but with the online, because they're anonymous, and then find out, hey, there is something here. There is a benefit here. I can help my loved one here and move toward the in-person. Do you see something like that? Or do you foresee that being an activity that may be valuable to people?
There are some online screens that you can take that are anonymous. Also, when you work with a nonprofit or a medical facility, you don't have to give your name. You can actually get services without ever telling them who you are. So if anonymity is the concern, our organization, there's a group called the Council on Aging in town. There's a number of others that you can go to for services and support without revealing who you are.
Now, what about the next step of it, which is probably the one that's the dark side, is somebody that maybe they're being abused?
Unfortunately, it's all too common in seniors. With dementia, a great number of them live alone in this county. We have thousands of people who have some type of memory impairment who live alone. So we try and train people at the bank. We try and train police officers. But if you're concerned about a family member being coerced, being physically abused, any of those things, you of course would call Adult Protective Services. You can call any one of us and we can connect you to the resources to help with those situations.
And that's a biggie right there. So if you got a neighbor or something like that, or you see somebody that's, hey, maybe you got a neighbor that's living alone and you're the first one that sees this and you don't want to get involved. Unfortunately, that's too many people that are that way, but you can make a phone call and get that person some help.
Sure. And I would suggest that you call us first. Call Adult Protective Services if you're worried about abuse every single time. However, if you're not sure what to do in a situation, you're not sure it's abuse, our social workers can guide you through the different options and agencies that you can call while remaining anonymous. Again, if you're worried about being abused, immediately call Adult Protective Services.
So we only have a few minutes left. I want to talk a little bit about finance. So I'm sure that as the big guy over there, CEO, you've probably got to deal with, and so many of the things you've talked about are free. How do you afford all these things?
We fundraise. The residential care of the day centers are covered by insurance. Residential care is either private pay, sometimes long-term care insurance. By the way, if you don't have long-term care insurance, go look for it. It's important.
That's hard to get right now. So talk to somebody, give us a call, we'll help you. Because most of the time, the only way you can get long-term care right now is as part of a life insurance policy. But I digress.
Part of the future, right? So fundraising for us, we have a golf tournament. We just did a big walk at Angel Stadium. We had about 5,000 folks. We do a gala every year. And we have other traditional fundraising mechanisms. That's how we pay for our free services, our classes, and those sorts of things.
Okay, so the typicals: a walk, a gala, and golf.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, the tried and true. The one thing I will say is the best way anybody listening can help us is to get somebody who needs us to us. We're a firm believer that the money follows service, and not necessarily from the people we're providing service to, but if you're doing the right thing in the right way for as many people as possible, the money will come. And so far it has.
Help enough people get what they need, and you get what you need.
Exactly.
I think I heard Zig Ziglar say that one time. It wasn't new to me. So it must take a lot though to take care of all these people, because I know you guys have a lot of different services, a lot of classes,
and most of them, other than our residential and day, are at no charge. But out of our whole budget, we're about $19 million this year. About 7 of that is through fundraising.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
That's
but it's a lot of people, 26,000 people. So I think we do a good job reaching as many people as possible. And by the way, our overhead's 10%. I'll stand behind that any day of the week.
Yeah, you know something? I'm a big believer that's I like to look at that, but I believe when you said what, a $19 million budget, mm-hmm. You're probably not going to find somebody, a minimum wage employee, that's going to be able to do that. So you've got to have good people. And if you want to have good people, you got to pay them.
Sure.
So you look at that and you say, okay, well, it's the budget has to be there. So I don't like the idea when they go and they say, well, the CEO of XYZ charity made XYZ dollars. Well, they also raised XYZ and they helped. How many people were they able to help?
Who are you going to get to run $19 million worth of business with a high school education? Not demeaning that level of education.
Sure.
I will say the overall overhead percentage for an organization is a good factor to look at. How much of your dollar are they spending on administration in general is a good factor to look at. Anything under 25% is reasonable. When you get down to the tens, you're really doing well. And if there's smaller organizations, you expect their overhead to be higher.
That makes sense. It has to be, right? Because
exactly.
People just look at the dollar and they say, oh, he makes that much money. Well, so, okay, but that's a 0.1% in a $100 million organization, right? Or whatever the number is. I'm just throwing a number out there. But it is a big factor. And if you've ever had anybody that suffered with any of the cognitive issues, I'm going to tell you that get them involved. You get involved. You're not going to, in my case, I'll say, I couldn't get my dad involved in these things. It was too far. But my ability to go and talk to people helped me a lot. And I suggest that if you're walking this path, you got a loved one there, go and have a chat. It costs you nothing to have that consultation. It may benefit you immensely. It may benefit your loved one immensely. They may or may not know it, but I'm just throwing that out there. thank you for coming in here. I appreciate you sharing with us. We've always got some love to learn.
Well, thanks
And
for having me. We appreciate it. I will say one thing, though. I guarantee you and guarantee every listener to your podcast that we have one piece of information they need, probably more, but I guarantee you we have at least one. So reach out and let us give you that.
love it. Appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be able to come back again and chat with us. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Levin and Sean, who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.